We would like to congratulate the Denver Nuggets on being NBA champions for the first time in their history. And if you want to hear some nuggets of wisdom each week, go to www.NTTFGPOD.com and subscribe. I'm Rock.
And I'm Archie.
Well, our opinions, they might not matter to some, but...
What are you doing in there?
It's a podcast.
Immature, crass, trashy. And those are their good qualities. These poor schmucks are a couple of IQ points away from eating paste. But when it comes to music, sports, and comedy, well, that's all they know. You're listening to
Not These Two Fucking Guys.
Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast.
So, Arch, I know this is one of your favorite bands. And there's a lineup change. I read online that statements by the band and by the artist, Rob Caggiano, no longer a member of Volbeat. What do you know?
Yeah, man. I boasted over his guitar sound the last time I saw him with Volbeat at the Prudential Center. His fucking guitar sound was fucking bonkers. That's how good it was.
Bonkers.
And now he is gone.
That's it.
I did read online on one of his posts on Instagram was stating that, you know, sometimes people grow apart, sometimes styles change, sometimes people.
It's like every relationship has its,
has its course. I wonder, there's a little more something.
Yeah,
because Volbeat put out, like a pretty much a general nice statement.
They said, "Thank you, Rob, for playing guitar on our song." No, all right. That's what I thought they said.
Yeah, man, it's interesting. And he was officially on June 5th, and he has since been replaced by on the road by Fleming C. Lung, the Arcane Order. I don't even know. I don't know.
Fleming C. Lung, like lung phlegm. What the fuck?
Fleming C. Lung.
Come on.
Lund. Oh, did I say Lung? Maybe because Lund. L-U-N-D.
Lund.
Lung.
Lung. Listen. So I can say this.
To fill his shoes, he's got to be really good. I don't know the Arcane Order. I don't know that band.
Well, I'll tell you this. So, right, they both did the right thing. They both put out good. It seemed like a very amicable split. That being said, when you pull back the layers of the onion, what was
something happened. Something happened.
Was he the only one that wasn't Danish in the band?
Yeah. Hey, he was from fucking, where's he from? Queens?
Yeah.
Or fucking Bronx. I don't know, somewhere like
New York.
Yeah, and they're all over there.
Yeah.
He come on, man. He had to have made like a couple million.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And I think he made enough that if shit went sour in his opinion, he's like, I'm good.
Well,
he's gonna. By the way, that post that he made was that post they made at the end of it said bigger and better thing, or no, not bigger and better thing. I should probably read the post, right?
Big things to come.
Big things to come. Yes. I'm trying to fucking remember.
Yeah, that's basically what every local band, including us, says. Big things coming. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
First off, in order to stay tuned, you have to fucking be tuned.
Stay tuned.
Big things
tuned
coming.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. I'm putting out a post right now on our Instagram for our podcast.
Okay.
Big things coming.
Big things coming.
I can't even talk about it right now. You want to know what it is? I can't talk about it. Big things coming.
I just hope you're fucking manifesting something.
BTC.
BTC. That's it. They're like, yo, should we invest in BTC?
Hashtag BTC. Let me tell you this: Volbeat will go on and still be awesome, and Rob Caggiano will fucking be awesome as well because he's a fantastic guitar player. As we've said, we're big fans of his. And he'll catch on with, I'm sure, a known band.
I know he's a pretty well-known producer too, so I'm sure he's going to either maybe produce something cool, put something together. Maybe he's got something in the works, bro. All of a sudden he's in some like super group.
Well, you never know, right? So it says every relationship runs its course. So maybe he was like, hey, listen, guys, I kind of want to do this side thing and blah, blah, blah. And they get pissed off. Like, you know what? Go ahead.
Yeah.
God bless. You don't know what it is, though. Dude, they've written records together. They've toured. Obviously, I know it's one of your favorite bands.
Yeah, I'm definitely a Volbeat fan. A hardcore fan. I like
you and your lovely bride came out to, even though it was a cover. Wedding. It was awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, we tried to be cool.
I only want to be there.
Yeah, when I look at that entrance, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was two like smoke type of things coming out. So like we were like just supposed to like go through it together and like like together, and we did, but you could definitely see me thinking I was like fucking Triple H or something.
Like, coming down, all you need was Howard Finkel coming down the aisle.
I was fucking amped. We kind of went together, and I was fucking little ahead of her.
Yeah,
fucking fuck.
I saw you fucking rip your shirt off and spit water up at the crowd. Beauty and the Beast.
I was like, we won't let him call you that, honey. We won't let him call you that. Yeah, no, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. My wedding was a lot of fun.
Great time. Great. There was I don't know who did it, but it was a great best man speech. I gotta be honest with you.
You're a fucking piece of shit.
A lot of chucks in that one.
To the people out there, Rocco was my best man at my wedding, and he was a very good best man. When it came down to the speech, he was even better. Man, oh man, how many times can you fit fucking bald and fat in one in one speech?
Hey, you're fitting it in one screen right now, so hey, got him.
He basically
it was a roast.
It was a roast. It was a roast. And then for good measure, I think at the end he's like, no, seriously, I hope you guys have a real good life.
Okay, so I made sure to acknowledge all the parents.
Yes, you did.
Acknowledge how beautiful your bride looked.
Yes, you did.
She did.
Yes, she did.
I got into the roast, as only we should do. And then at the end, I did the old sentimental, but I meant it, pal.
Sentimental.
I sentimentaled it.
You did. You got it. You nailed it.
Nailed it.
Yeah. So that goes down as a nice roasting. I just remember fucking lives in his mom's basement. Fucking I remember.
I mean, believe me, I fucking
I
robbed a million fucking jokes.
Oh,
well, I said, his bald head. I go, when Archie wears a turtleneck, he looks like roll-on deodorant. Come on, that's gold right there.
Oh, no, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Yo, Rock.
What's up?
What's up, brother? How you feeling?
Feeling great. You?
Superb. Always a good day when I get to speak to you and a guest.
Wow.
So today, do you remember years ago when you were nutty, creamy, crazy? Remember those days? No, that's not you. That's the background of my next guest right here, of our next guest. Ladies and gentlemen, from peanut butter to selling out fucking theaters, welcome to Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast, Greg Warren. What's up, Greg?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing, man? Thanks for having me on.
How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. Happy to talk to you.
Awesome.
So to start this off, I just want to say we appreciate, there was a dude named, another podcaster, Chuck Shoot.
Yeah, I know Chuck, man. He's a good guy.
Chuck, he recommended, he actually DM'd me and said, hey, man, listen, I pretty much, I see you guys have a lot of comedians on your podcast. You should check this guy out.
Cool,
yeah,
dude.
Absolutely. Checked you out. And I think I heard, honest, I'm not even joking around. I think I heard about like 30 seconds, 40 seconds. And I just heard your timing. And I went, all right, we'll get him on. We'll get him on.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, it got a lot worse after those first 40 seconds, man. Glad you didn't get past that, man. I would have never made it on here.
That's funny. You and my wife say the same thing.
Nah. I'm real good for 40 seconds. That's
40
garbage.
seconds. I'm a star.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it. So we checked you out real quick, and I wanted to talk to you to get obviously firsthand information, but we checked out your stand up, and I don't know if I'm wrong by saying this, but is there any type of, I hear Mitch Hedberg, like the timing, I don't know if like that's wrong.
Yeah, it's funny, man. I've been getting a lot of that lately, and I never thought that. I mean, I'm a giant fan of Mitch, so maybe it sort of happened, but
I hear it.
I guess maybe I do. You know, like I maybe some of the pausing. I thought always. I mean, if it's anybody, I've always heard Bob Newhart and a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I know myself that I'm probably influenced by Jake Johansson.
Okay.
The pacing a little bit, but yeah, I never. Mitch, I think. It's funny because this special just came out a month and a half ago, and there's a lot of comments like, "This guy's obviously a fan of Mitch." I got worried for a while. I was like, "Am I doing too much?" And then I listened. I was like, "No, man, I knew Mitch. I work with Mitch, and I almost wanted to send it to Lynn and be like, "Hey, Lynn, am I doing Mitch?" You know, but if I am, I don't want to. Yeah,
I'm not saying this as like, yo, you said. I just hear an influence, and
yeah, man. I mean, I think I love his. I hope it's because. I really, both of us, I mean, Mitch is one of the greatest ever to do it, and I don't compare myself to him, but I like in that Mitch talks about subjects they're somewhat mundane that nobody else talks about. You know, like that I've always admired about him, and I think not necessarily because of him, but I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to talk about relationships all that much. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about something somewhat abstract, and we both talk a lot about food, and I sold peanut butter and potato chips, so this special is a lot about that. So yeah, it's interesting, man. It's funny you said that because I kind of like I saw somebody say that, and I was like, "Ah, shut up, man, that's stupid." And then you see 30 or 40 comments, and I shouldn't read comments anyways because it's dumb, but 30 or 40 comments, and they're like, "Oh, this guy's influenced by Mitch." I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I am." You know, I don't know.
Listen, that's not bad. That's not bad influencing right there.
It's not bad. I just hope it's not the pace or it's too much because I used to, if you went to open mics for 20 years, you'd see guys just doing some version of Mitch like that, and I'm like, nah, dude, and if I'm doing that, just somebody shoot me.
Yeah.
I think that there's probably some of the pausing. That's
yeah.
probably more Jake Johansson than Mitch.
I think maybe it's like like you said, you take it could be like a mundane thing or like a little, you make peanut butter funny.
Like, thanks, man.
Like that kind of stuff as far as like it's maybe not an everyday, people do a lot of situational stuff, but it's concepts that people are not thinking about that you're talking about and making it funny as hell. Like that's
that's cool. Thanks for saying that, man. I mean, that's what I try to do. I really would rather talk about something that maybe a lot of people aren't talking about, or that, is not emotionally charged.
Sure.
And then have some emotion in it. I have strong views about peanut butter. That's also, I mean,
It just makes me
that's
laugh
also
thinking about it.
that's also somewhat Seinfeld too. I mean, like he was
Yeah.
doing it. Seinfeld was maybe the first one to be like, yeah, I'm going to get really into this stuff about, that most people don't care about. But yeah, I did sell that stuff I sold a lot of brands for like 10 years. And
give us a little background and our listeners too, like, what you did and your transition into comedy.
Yeah, I worked for Procter & Gamble. I sold like Jif peanut butter, Duncan Hines cake mix, Crisco shortening, Hawaiian Punch, Sunny Delight, Folgers coffee, a couple other brands. And I would start out going to like grocery stores, then I would call on like big grocery chains and stuff like that. And it's somewhere in that time I started doing stand up. I did it in college a little bit, but I didn't really have the courage to pursue it right out of college. And yeah, and then I did it off and on for those 10 years that I was selling peanut butter, and especially that last 5 years I was doing it pretty regularly, and I was trying to straddle both, and I was trying to find a way to get like transferred. I was at the time in Cincinnati. I was working at the headquarters, and I was like, can you transfer me to call it like New York or LA? And they almost did, and then it didn't work, and then I was like, I just need to give this a try full time. And it was, yeah, man, it's kind of stepping off the diving board a little bit, because I was making six figures with stock options and stuff like that in the 2000, and I didn't think I could do it long, but I was more like, well, let me just do this for a couple years and then at least say I tried.
Yeah.
And that was in 2001, so I haven't had to have a day job in 22 years. So.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a very fortunate situation. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Because why? Could have went the other way. You could have went for it and could have not succeeded.
Yeah, I got a couple breaks early, and just kind of hung in there and realized pretty quickly, like, this is what I want to do. I was fooling myself.
So, all right. So your transition from the peanut butter to comedy, 2001-ish. What year did you actually see, like, or how long did it take you that you were like, I could do this. It's going to happen. We can do this.
Well, I mean, so I had been doing it pretty regularly in stand-up comedy for the most part, unless you're in New York or LA. It's like there's three positions. You're the host, who's usually a local guy that they pay $200, and it's not an easy thing. And then there's a feature act that they bring in. Back then in 2001, you could do that 50 weeks a year if you were good, and you made like $500, but they put you up.
Okay.
Not a lot of money, maybe you sell some t-shirts or something. And then there's the headliner, who can make anywhere from $1,200 to an unlimited amount of money if you sell tickets,
Gotcha.
But like, so I was always the first guy when I was living in Cincinnati. I was, it's not that fun that people are eating, they're ordering, they assume you're going to suck. Yeah. But I did it, like 10 years pretty much.
Wow.
Which is longer than anybody, so I started getting good at it, and I started getting. So then I was like, I just want to be the second guy. I can't stand being the first guy. That's part of why I quit. I was like, I don't want to go first anymore.
Yeah.
So that first year I went on the road as a feature, and I worked probably 50 out of 52 weeks, and I was living out of my car. I had a little bit of money because I'd worked for 10 years, and I bought like a good car. And if I didn't like where the place was putting me up, I just get my own hotel, or in between gigs, I'd go stay at my folks, or I'd go just stay in a hotel somewhere, All
right. So you had
it was the funnest year of my life, man. It was the funnest year of my life. And I thought the first 6 months, man, I was like mostly just doing stand up and partying. I was 33, but it was like I was a kid in college, because it's like back when I was working at Procter & Gamble, we'd do shows, and then we'd meet some girls, and they'd be like, hey, you want to go with these girls next door? And I'd be like, I got to go to work in the morning,
Yeah.
And then that first 6 months on the road, you do a show, and these girls would be like, you want to? And I'd be like, yes, I do. Let's, let's. So I think I was just partying, still doing comedy, but just trying to kill. Yeah. And then about 6 months in, I was like, that's going to get old real fast. Like, let's try. And I started understanding, well, there's there's levels. Like you want to get on TV, don't you, dummy? You don't just want to be a club comic, doing the second guy forever. And I'd met some of those guys and they're fine, but I wanted, so I was like, start working. And I got some good advice from a few different guys, and I started really trying to write and improve myself. And I think probably, right around the end of that year, I had some friends in Houston and I auditioned for the Montreal Comedy Festival down there, and I got it that year. So I think I got that whole year, 2001, I was on the road, auditioned right in 2002, and then I did Montreal in 2002 in the summer, and that was a big deal back then. Like I was in what they call new faces, and it's just a way for the industry to be like, this guy, we picked him out of hundreds of people. We picked him.
Yeah.
And I got a manager out of that. I got an agent. I got a TV credit. And at that point, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be famous, but it was like somebody has given me some validation. And then, and then it was, from then on, it was just like incremental growth. Like I'd get this next TV credit, or I get another TV credit. I had some success on a couple of syndicated radio shows, and it was, and then, so it would just kept getting more and more. And I never had like one. There's been several things where I was like, okay, man, this might be the thing that I'm household name, you think that, you got to kind of dream a little bit, and you got to have,
of course,
you don't want to be arrogant, but you want to think like, I'm good, and I'm just this close. And, I've had a lot of them, and usually they were like, this is very positive. This is going to get you more fans, more gigs, more money, but you're not, it's your life's not going to be radically changed.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's a long-winded answer there.
Did you put yourself on like a timeline, like saying, okay, 2 years in, I want to be doing this, 3 years in, I want to be doing this, and like,
nah, I don't think I knew what that timeline was. I was just too dumb to even know. I mean, it was probably something around if you run out of money, but it was like, I think pretty quickly, once I did Montreal, I'm like, what am I going to do? Quit, man? They took 20, they took 25 people out of thousands, and I have a bad few months, so I'm going to quit. No, seems like every couple years when I was like, man, maybe I've declared myself done in this business, something good would happen.
Yeah, that's a nice little gamble, though. Glad it paid off for you, man, because you're a funny dude, and you're bringing
thanks, man.
Laughter to people, a lot of people. So that self gratification right there,
Yeah, it's funny. It's like weird to say that, because you're like, there's that thing where I'll get emails from people like, yeah, hey man, I had a bad whatever thing going on, and I listened to your show on Sirius, or I saw you on Amazon or YouTube, and it really, and it's like, yeah, see, man, I'm doing like good things for people. But then there's like that other voice in my head, like, yeah, dirtbag, we all know that's not why you're doing it. You're doing it for selfish reasons. It's just, I'm like, well, yeah, but it's still hell.
Yeah.
You're not doing it to be this benevolent guy,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm doing it because there probably is something where it's like, it's pretty fun to make people laugh,
Why not? I mean, you're spreading good vibes in the world.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm one. So if I'm honest with myself, is that because I just want to make everybody happy, or is it because it's a pretty cool feeling?
Well, to me, I think it's both. I mean, Greg's
Art, you literally never made anyone laugh ever, so you don't really know the feelings.
Well, if you want to go back into the conversation, 40 seconds, I'm fucking strong.
Yeah.
I make people laugh. Don't worry. But I can see two sides of the coin here, man, because Greg's got to eat too, right? And this is the profession you chose.
Yeah.
And you're making people laugh. So you want to know what? I feel fucking good. You feel fucking good. We're good. I mean, that's
I think it's it's like a philosophical question, man. If you do a good deed, and I've always wondered this, like if you do a good deed and it helps people, but you do it for the wrong reasons, it still helps people, right?
I feel like that holding doors or even something small like that. Like, you hold a door for somebody. Like, did you? I mean, granted, it's manners, right? Certain people have manners, but like, you held that door for that nice young lady. Did you really like? Maybe if it was a guy, you would have fucking just went right out the door.
Yeah. I mean, but for I hold doors for old people, or for I almost always hold doors. Now, does that make me a good person? No, it makes my dad a good person because he,
Yeah.
beat it into me when I was 10. Like he didn't hit me, but I'm just like, it's weird because it's so reflexive, some of that manner stuff, right? It's just I say gesundheit or God bless you, and I open doors. Is it because I'm such a good person? It's like, no, it's just because I was trained well, is basically all.
Yeah.
It says more about your parents, I think, than it says about you.
True. And with 2 little ones on my side right now, I'm trying to be a good parent, but I also see myself I have a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I'm seeing myself like an incident would happen, and I'm trying to really be not the fuck up that I usually would. And I'm trying to instill good manners and good...
That's great though, man. I I don't have kids, but I would imagine that, you have to think about, oh my God, this is this thing. And it makes you a better person, I would imagine, but I've seen plenty of parents where they didn't have that thing in their head that you have.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm going to continue to be the dirtbag that I've always been.
No, honey, we're just going to sell meth. It doesn't hurt people.
Yeah.
It's just funny powder.
Yeah. Don't sell the meth when the kids are awake. That's our rule.
So I almost back to what Rocky was saying from before, making things that you ordinary making funny. The Salesman.
Yeah, that's my new special, man.
I'm like 20 minutes in, and I'm fucking. I only get like select time. Like I walk the dog, I listen to podcasts, I listen to specials, I listen to that shit. And like I'm going down my block this morning, and I'm fucking cracking up, bro.
Oh, thanks, brother, man. Dude, that means a lot. Yeah, thanks for listening, dude.
And I'm not gonna go back to the timing thing, but I think your pace is. You have a good pace. You sound like. You ever hear of an expression when comedians say you kind of play the silence?
Yeah, I think you got to. I think pausing is a really
important.
It's really
I'm not a stand-up
important
comedian,
technique.
but I've watched enough that the pause is part of the show. It's part of
it's really effective. I think that first 20 minutes, we made some edits, and some of them were for different reasons. But what I really liked about the special is I'm not, a household name. I'm not Mitch. I'm not Jerry Seinfeld. Some people know me. I've done some things. Mm-hmm. But we put her on YouTube, and that's a place where you're going to get people that don't know you. They're just going to happen on you. And I'm like, what is a nice thing is that 20 minutes comes out hard. It's a lot of jokes, and it's jokes that I like, and the pacing's pretty quick. And I'm like, hey man, if we didn't get you after that 20, then we didn't deserve, you're not going to enjoy this, because that's some of the best 20 of my career right there. It's like, if you didn't like me after that, then let's shake hands and say, go watch whatever, because I felt really good about that. And I had a few friends in comics tell me like, dude, what that 20, man? I'm like, yeah, it kind of happened accidentally, because there was early on there was about a 3 or 4 minute chunk that's good, but we just cut it out for a few reasons. And I was like, I hate losing that. And I looked and I was like, no, that was a good idea, man, because we get into it quick.
Yeah. No,
go ahead, Arch. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying like you definitely come out the gate swinging, and if you're a fan, and you could hear the people, they're fucking genuinely belly laughing too at your shit.
It's a hot crowd, man. That Lexington that I picked.
Where was that
club.
shot? Where was that shot again?
Lexington, Kentucky, a club called Comedy Off Broadway.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another interesting thing. So Nate Bargatze directed and produced it.
Oh,
and
wow.
Nate's Nate's having a giant career, man. He's about as big of a comedian as there is right now.
He's hilarious. Yeah.
He's great, man. And he wanted to put it, it's on his YouTube channel. He wanted to produce some specials that he thought would appeal to his fan base. And I was one of three. And so Nate didn't have it. He was there. He directed it. He on the edit, Nate had like 2 notes.
Wow.
He had 2 notes. There was one chunk of material about college sports teams and mascot, and cheers and stuff. And it's good. But Nate was like, man, this doesn't fit this special. He goes, it just doesn't fit. He goes, use it for clips,
Yeah.
So that was just one note. And I'm like, yeah, he's right. So, and then the other note, it was a real small note, but the first edit, like we showed, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Greg Warren. You see me walk up to the stage. You see me shake hands with the MC. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, guys, it's great to be here. Boom. And Nate's like, you know what, man? I like this special. I like the first joke a lot. He goes, cut all that. He goes, cut all of it and just open with the first joke. Nothing. So it just shows the salesman, Nate Bargatze, and then I go, like during the like right away, like there's no intro, there's nothing, and I was like, Nate, I don't know, man, I like the music and all the and he, how often do you have music? And he's like, trust me on this, and I was like, yeah, I wouldn't get to argue with him anyway, right. but I, it was a really good idea, man. It just kind of worked out for what we did.
I actually love that because I'm obviously a lifelong huge George Carlin fan, and he would jump right into it. So and like that's what that reminded me of. And I think it's really cool. It's different. It's different than what the majority of people are doing.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I was a little uncomfortable with it, but I was like, okay, man, let's roll with it, and I also think it's like, I watch a lot of stuff, and it's if you don't know who I am, it's like they're like, we're gonna watch this stupid clown walk up to the stage and say thank you. Who wants to say that? This guy, I don't know who this guy is, man. The salesman, shut up. What's the next thing? At least now, if they say I don't like this guy, he sucks, I got a chance to give him a couple of jokes before, and maybe they still think I suck, but I went out fighting, I went out swinging, man. It wasn't because the other thing is, man, I don't know what it is about me, but I can't stand watching me say thank you and shake hands. Like it's just the most awkward, dumb thing. Thank you. Or that thing where, like on a comedy special, you said everybody's going crazy. You're like, no, guys, it's come on, that's too much, guys. It's like what am I gonna say? We all know what's going on here. Like I hate that part of it, And I just look. There was this. I did this BET show years ago. It was like 2004. It was called Coming to the Stage. It was on BET, and I was like the only white guy in the show. And the black comics, those guys are so comfortable with that stuff, man. They had like a DJ, so those guys would come on stage and they'd be dancing, and the DJ would be playing, and they just seemed like they were they were so smooth. And then I'd have to go on stage, and I'm like, I can't dance to save my life. And in front of a black audience, are you kidding me? So I'd walk out there and 2 notes into whatever they're playing, I'd be like, cut. Please, for the love of God, nobody watch me dance. This is a terrifying thing. It was reflection.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like those awkward moments. I was watching something. It was like all these years, and one of the most uncomfortable things for people is no one knows what to do or how to look cool when someone's singing happy birthday to you. Like, what do? You're just like, this guy, like,
nothing. Yeah. Nothing.
Fucking,
Is it?
I immediately start sweating. It could be, my birthday's in January in New Jersey. I'm sweating.
Yeah, they're saying happy birthday to me, and I've already had 2.5 pieces of cake. It's
So let me ask you this. So from what I see, and I don't know if this comes from years of experience and doing it and being a seasoned comic, but you look absolutely super comfortable. But the thing that I would say, and to me is a huge compliment, is you don't look like you're trying to be funny. Like when I would go to comedy shows and comedy clubs, and it looks like the comedian is trying so hard to like, let me be funny. And was it like that when you were starting off, and you
Oh
grew into it,
God,
or-
Jesus Christ! If there's tape, then God help me. Yeah, it was terrible. It was there was an intensity and a desperation and all that stuff, and you just do it enough times after years, you're like, you care, but you can't care that much. And I've gotten pretty good at that. I still lean forward a little bit. I still am like, I'm a little bit ranty sometimes, and I'm like, this is what we're gonna do, and I need the audience to be with me.
Yeah.
Go watch Nate, man. Nate, it's amazing. Like, he never will push. Like, he just doesn't push. They come to him.
He's more like a bob and weave up there.
Yeah,
as
he's
talking.
leaning back, and Nate's kind of got, and his voice has got that Tennessee accent. He's like, and you get fooled into thinking that it's not brilliant writing. It is. Yeah, I push still, but not near as early on. It was pathetic, man. It was like I was, like a guy on the corner with a tin cup asking for laughs. It was pathetic. But yeah. Thanks for saying that. I mean, now I do think it is, you don't want to go sort of let people behind the curtain, but most stand-up comedy, there's some improvisation within a set, but a lot of, to get a joke that finely honed to do it on a special, it's worked 10,000 times, man. Like, so you're kind of like, it's going to work. Okay.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, who cares? This is good. You have to almost have that kind of thing.
I remember when we had Mark Norman on, and he talked about.
Oh, he's great, man. Yeah.
Yeah, really funny. He talked about, when he was coming up, it was almost like the delivery, like where he said other comics and people that he looked up to were like, "Hey, you got to slow down a minute. You got to slow down," and like, and that's how he kind of like found his style of like,
he's got a definite style, man.
Yeah.
I remember me and Mark lived to like a block from each other in New York, so we would take cabs home. Him and the girlfriend at the time lived like behind me, so me and Mark would share a cab. And I remember sharing a cab with him, and he was doing Conan for the first time that weekend. And I was like, he was like, I don't know, I go, dude, because I'd done a few TV sets by that time.
Yeah,
I could tell this guy was going to be, already going to pass me up. But I was like, listen, man, you have this like style that you've already developed. You have a character. You have just this. You just have a character. Go to that, and the jokes will take care of themselves. Just stay in that thing, and they will be the engine for the jokes. Don't be so dependent on the jokes, because your jokes he's got great jokes, but it's like, if you go to that thing, and that's where, Mitch was this guy who has brilliant jokes, but he had this very unique character within those jokes to deliver them. You know?
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, you said you've worked with Mitch, and he is, one of our favorite comedians.
He's genius.
But he seemed sometimes like he was uncomfortable in his own skin, like doing those things. And I don't know if that's part of his shtick or that's how he was, but he just seemed like he was just like.
I think he was a little shy. I don't. I think he was. Yeah, I think maybe he was a little shy, and part of it was somewhat of the character, but I didn't know him that well to ask him those questions. But yeah, I mean, he would look down a lot during his set.
Yeah.
I mean, he was such a good guy, man. He was really nice to me.
I can't imagine like being a comedian and like it's I guess it's like a Bert Kreischer tells a story. He's got like, he'll do a special. It's like 8 jokes.
Yeah, man.
Really,
Yeah.
But Mitch Hedberg would.
I just watched Bert's special. I don't watch
fun.
a ton of comedy because I see so much live. But I watched Bert's special a couple weeks ago. I thought it was good, man.
Yeah,
It was really good.
I like his storytelling.
Yeah, he's great.
He cracks up on himself. He knows what he is, and it's just and another like he has.
It's
his
infectious,
character, right?
man, and it's infectious. You whatever. At some point, I challenge you to not get caught up and be like, all right, man, this is fun. And
Yeah.
he's,
Yes.
yeah. I just saw his movie last week too. It's great.
How was it?
It was really good, man. I mean, it's silly, it's
Yeah.
zany, it's an action movie, it's crazy, and but it's funny, and it's Bert being very much himself, and
Okay.
it's
That's on the
I
to-do
like it.
list.
Yeah, you'll like it, man. You'll enjoy it.
But what I was getting to was that I like someone like Mitch Hedberg or Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
The how many fucking jokes
Oh,
you have to fit in a 5 to 10 minute set, a 15-minute
insane.
set. Forget
Yeah.
about a special.
yeah. I mean, Mitch would have a list on stage of just jokes, and
Like, I
I
mean,
mean, there's so many. Yeah, Dangerfield. Yeah, Nick Griffin's somewhat like that now. Guy that's, I mean, he's got so many jokes. And for Nick to build a special, it takes a long time because all the jokes are 30 seconds, man.
So talk about your, and I'm just first of all, I'm fascinated with stand-up comedians. Obviously watch a fan of comedy our whole lives. What is your process for writing? 'Cause I'm sure everyone's is different. Maybe you don't have the same thing you do, but you okay, I'm going to sit down and write some stuff, or is it you write it as it comes along in your head?
I think, everybody has their own thing. I think for me to be productive, I need to be pen to paper, and I need to be pen to paper on a regular basis. So like journaling in the morning, I think is, important. And then sort of taking if there's anything in that during that journaling thing that seems like it's impossible to write, like to sit down and be like, what is funny? Nothing. Okay. What is interesting or different? That's possible. What happened yesterday that didn't usually happen? What did I see? Who did I meet that stood out? What did I do that I don't normally do? That start capturing those. Okay. And then often you can turn those into something that might be funny. So I do the journaling, and then I try to capture those things and, sort of take those, put them on a different page and do kind of a different type of exercise. Just like what can we say, let's come at this topic from 500 different angles. I listen to sets a lot, as I did this morning. I was like,
record everything.
Yeah, I audio record everything. So
Yeah.
so like I woke up this morning. I was like, I did this radio call in, and I was beat, man. I'd driven yesterday a bunch, and I was like, I'm tired. I don't want to write my stupid act, but I did my dumb journaling, and then I was like, I don't feel like, I just listened, and that always helps. That helps a lot, is listen, and there you can listen a million different ways. Like I think you can listen intently. Sometimes it's good just to listen while you're doing the dishes and not even, just half pay attention, because you start making subconscious adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are all kind of, there are 2 or 3 writing exercises, journaling and listening are the best things for me. Then I think, you get those like divine intervention, divine moments during the afternoon where you're like, oh my God, I see this. These things are starting to come together. Then you put a note in your phone, and you're like, okay, I got to hold on to that. You got to remember to hold on to that. You got to be like, because a lot of times you'll be like, I'll remember it. You never remember it.
Never. I listen to in the morning sometimes Jim Norton.
Yeah.
And he says he doesn't like, if he's doing like sets at like Comedy Cellar or something like that, he likes supporting the other comedians, but he doesn't like watching a lot of stand-up comedy for the fact that he thinks that you could subconsciously lift stuff from people's acts, whether it be
I'm terrified of that. Yeah.
Whether it be the inflection or a joke or something like that.
Sure, man, I'm terrified of that. I mean, I think I've been guilty of it once or twice. Hopefully that just once or twice. I think, and if it happens, hopefully your friends are like, "Hey, man, so and so does something like that," and you're like, "Oh God, thank God we did that." You told me that. I mean, and sometimes, I'm kind of OCD, and you got to let yourself sort of not obsess about that, because you drive yourself nuts, and hopefully just try to police yourself and hope your friends are policing you. But I don't seek out a lot of stand-up comedy.
Do you ever
Yeah,
you ever
see-
have like people that help with the writing process?
Yeah, man. I have 2 or 3. Like my buddy Mark Gross is a writer. He was a great stand-up comic, but now he's a TV writer. He and I talk almost every day. You know, I read most of the stuff he'll write for TV, and he'll listen to every joke premise that I have. There's a guy named Brendan Ayer, very, very funny comedian that we pitch ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mike Birbiglia, a great comedian, and Mike and I have probably done it not on a regular basis, but like, you know, maybe a check in 4 or 5 times a year. I'll be like, Mike, I got something, or, you know, like
Yeah,
I don't do it all
Hmm.
the time with Mike, but for the last 15, 20 years, I've probably, you know, I probably haven't missed a year where I was like, hey, Mike, man, let me run something by you.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good because you need other people in just looking at something with different eyes, different hearing it with different ears. You know,
Sometimes it's good just for you to say it and just get it out.
Yeah.
And then you also have to be like, you know, Mike Birbiglia is an extremely successful comic. He's doing way better than I am. But you also have to be like, Mike is not me. So, you know, you listen to what they say, and a lot of times you'll be like, that's a great idea. And then you'll be like, Mike, that's a great idea, but I'm not doing it because it sounds like Mike Birbiglia. It doesn't sound like Greg Warren. You know,
Gotcha.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
But yeah, you got to have the right people too. Cause like my brother, man, he's one of the funniest guys I know. But when I was younger, I used to call him up, be like, hey man, I got this idea. You know, he'd be like, oh yeah. I don't get, you know, and it's like, then you're just completely crushed. And you gotta listen to somebody that really sort of sees the possibilities in something, because you don't want to lose hope in it. So I only have, you know, it's really Brendan and Mark on a regular basis. Sometimes Biggs. There's a couple other guys here and there, you know. My buddy Tim Convey every now and then, but yeah, that you don't want to like give too many people input into what you do. You have to kind of trust your instincts.
Yeah. So Archie and I are you know, we've grown up together in bands, and we play in,
Oh,
and
cool.
and I feel like we just straight up steal stuff, right, Archie? Like in music,
good artists borrow, great artists steal.
it's like no, but like we joke about it, but it's like we're music heads who listen to it, and you can't help but subconsciously like gravitate to certain stuff, and then it kind of like comes out in your work, and like, you know, whether there's a fine line between emulating and ripping somebody up. So
Absolutely, man. I think you got to be very, very careful there. But you're right. There is a line between being influenced, and being unduly influenced. And you know, and I've asked when you guys weren't the first ones to say the Mitch thing, I was like, I've asked myself several times, you know, in the last month. I'm like, wait a minute, am I doing? And I kind of was like,
no, not in that way. Not in that way.
I think you're innocent here. I mean, if somebody was going to come at me, there's other ways they could come at me. Like it'd be like, man, Jake Johansson, kind of, you have some pacing. And I'm like, yeah, I might have too much of him. Or Bob Newhart. I've gotten that, but Mitch.
Yeah,
but what you're saying, man, you have to be sort of. There is a line, and it's not an easy one. You know, but you just gotta kind of figure out which, you know, where it is.
Yeah,
and hopefully your buddies help you. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Archie would absolutely steer me in the wrong direction. Like, yeah, you can.
I would leave you in the fucking murky water. So, Greg, you got some fucking cool. You got some dates coming up, bro. Man. You got a minute to relax. Looks like you got this week to relax.
I got this week. I haven't had a week in a while because I've been doing I was in LA doing a bunch of podcasts and radio, in New York doing a bunch of podcasts and radio to promote the special. And then I went to Myrtle Beach, and Myrtle Beach last week was the first time where I was like, no, I don't golf, man.
Okay. All right.
Did get jet skiing in the ocean, you know.
you don't have to yell. We're all friends here, Greg.
No, it's you get. I can't even begin to golf. That was like one of the first weeks. I'm still promoting the special. I'm talking to you guys. I still want a lot of people to watch it. I'll still have an active, I'll be out there. But last week was like the first week I was like, all right, man, you need to write a new hour, dummy. Like, like, let's maybe spend a little less time promoting and a little more time writing. And yeah. So it was the first time where I was on stage. It's a lot of shows there. I was on stage and I was like, all right, there may be a future, like maybe I have something else to say. I don't know.
Never settle. Never settle.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me ask you this. So the majority of the stuff I saw, if not everything, is clean. Is all your work? Do you work clean?
Yeah. It's. I mean, I wasn't always like that, but probably about 8 or 9 years ago, I sort of made a conscious decision.
Why?
I got some advice from this. I was never filthy. I was profane at times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I got the guy that ran Sirius XM's comedy division was like, hey, man, you're way too clean to not be all the way clean. He's like, you need to do that. And he goes, if you do, there's a lot of opportunity here for you. He was kind of redevising the clean channel there. And he's like, I need more. I need some clean comics. You could do it. Just do it. And I was like, argued, of course, for a couple minutes. And he's like, hey, dummy. I was like, okay. So that was, I don't know, that's about 8 or 9 years ago. And I will not say that I've never said a swear word on stage. But since then, but I would say, I try to write everything that I put out. I try to keep it clean. And usually when you come to the show, nobody's going to be offended. Although, like everything you put out, somebody's going to be offended. There's just,
everybody has a problem with everything, but
that special that I put out, there was a joke about nurse practitioners in there.
Okay.
And this lady reached out and she was like, hey, I'm a nurse practitioner. You really offended me.
Oh.
I'm never going to watch you again. I used to be a fan. I'll never watch you again. And I'm going to tell my friends never to watch you,
Thank you.
I wrote back, hey, I'm sorry. I really, I never want to make anybody sad by my comedy, but next time, could you have a doctor reach out? Because
that's the best. That is the best. It's. I tell you this, and I admire you because you're hilarious. You're hilarious, and to me. And again, I love the raunchiest of raunchy.
Me too, man. See, some of my favorite comics are filthy, man. I don't think there's any more value in clean than dirty. it's my style. That's
I think it's you have to be that more creative, and you are.
Yeah.
Like I feel
I don't know,
harder.
man.
I do. I really do.
I don't know if it is because don't tell me what Dave Attell does is easy because there's not one human being on the earth that could do it. Dave Attell is dirty. He's also a genius. Like he is a bona fide genius. And you're like, well, that's not as hard. No. Okay. Well, then why is he the only one in the world that can do what he does?
Listen, I agree. Dave Attell might be my favorite comedian of all time.
Yeah.
But I would counter your point with this. Every single joke he does is not dirty, right? It's not.
No, it's not. No.
So you're already taking half of that kind of material away. So that's why I do think it's harder to work clean. So it's
there's some cool benefits about it in that like anybody can watch it. Like now I don't. If I do a corporate show or I do whatever, I'm like, just do my show.
You're not going to
the
Scott All because there's a good chance that listen, we would really love you for this corporate event, but you're a little too dirty, but you're really funny. But you could clean up with all those, man.
Yeah, I don't have to
change.
I've done pretty well. Hopefully this special will take me even more. But like, it's funny because back in the day, I wasn't even that dirty, but corporate. I worked for a corporation, so I know what you need to do.
Yeah.
So you do this editing on the fly. You think, well, oh yeah, I could take that gig, and then you're on stage, and you're like, I can't say that word. I can't say that word. And it's not. It's not. The timing is never. Or my favorite is like substitution words are the lamest things in the world. It's like, that freaking guy. You're like, oh come on, man. That's worse. That's so lame. You know, like just either say the word or reroute and go in a different direction. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, kids can watch the show. It's not, that's what Nate wanted to do. He wants people to watch it with their families. Are kids going to get everything I say? No, but they're not going to be offended by anything. And they are going to get some of it. Kids have pretty good senses of humor, man.
Yeah.
They pick up on stuff. And I like Nate does it. Mike Vecchione, who did a special with Nate, very funny comic. He did he was clean on his last special. It's like, I want it to have an edge. I don't want this to be like little, you know, bubblegum comedy. I want it to have an edge. I just don't really, you know, I don't want to use the language. And it's not that it offends me that much. It's just a strategic decision, I guess. And I kind of am not going to turn back now.
Rock,
I gotta say, I think you're doing a smart thing, and seeing your sketch comedy in your videos, I think that like you're the type of guy you would see move from what you're doing now to a sitcom, and I mean that. I see that. Let
me give you the names of about 80 casting directors and 30 network execs that would disagree with you vehemently.
Did you ever see Greg come off stage? Comes off, he's like, that was the best fucking night ever. You gotta grab them by the
I've said it, man. And the time when you'll hear me say it is when I get a little, like, if sometimes the crowd, like if I go to the crowd and there's somebody in there, I'll flip it every now and then, and I'm not proud of it, you know.
guys, you're gonna make me cuss. You're gonna make me cuss. I'm just like,
in a live show, you know, I'll every now and then I'll hear. I'm working on that.
Listen,
that I'm fine, but Nate doesn't swear. Nate was he's the funniest guy, the coolest guy in the world. He's the coolest guy you'll meet. Like, he's a cool dude. He just doesn't swear. He was brought up really Christian. I wasn't, you know, I brought up with any religion, but Nate just doesn't ever say it. I say it way too much off stage, and I'm working on it, because I'm like, hey man, you're kind of a fraud because your mouth is horrible off stage sometimes, and you know,
fantastic.
The opposite when he walks off.
Yeah, I'm not the opposite, but I'm like, there's a certain moment I'm like, good God, man, you need to clean it up, you fraud. Yeah.
Greg. Well, I tell you what, man, we enjoyed the shit out of your special so far. I'm really happy that Chuck Shoot recommended you.
Oh yeah, tell Chuck. I'll tell him thanks. You guys are great, man. I really enjoyed talking to you guys, man.
Appreciate that.
Us too, and we're big music comedy. Like, we love hearing new material, new people, just in our ears. Yeah, I know you've been around for a while, but I got to hear you the other day, and I'm a new fan.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Thanks a lot, man.
Same here.
Yeah. You guys are fun to talk to, man.
Please, tell our friends that. Please, tell
I have 80 podcast directors that would disagree with you.
I want to hear the music though, man. You guys are musicians, right?
Archie's gonna send you some stuff that we do.
Really? I would love to, man. I want to hear that, man.
Yeah, I'll definitely. I'll send you the link after this.
I need to get something to get through the workout tomorrow morning. So send me something.
Nice.
I will.
Yeah.
Please tell everybody out there where they can find you. And your specials on YouTube, but yes, let it out.
Yeah, the specials on YouTube, it's called The Salesman. If you just Google Greg Warren, The Salesman, or, you know, go to Nate Land YouTube channel, you can find it pretty easily. And then my website's Greg Warren Comedy. And, it's easy to find all my socials. Pretty easy.
Awesome. The very funny Greg Warren, everybody. Follow him. Watch the special. Hit the sub. Let's go. Good luck, brother.
Hey, thanks a lot. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. Please send me the music, man. I want to check it out. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, when you come by the tri-state area, we hope to come out and see you. So
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah.
Enjoy
Okay,
the
cool.
tour, bro. Talk
Thank
to
you
you
very
Thanks,
much.
guys. Yeah, we'll see you, man.
later. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Greg Warren.
he's a funny dude. Let me tell you something.
No potty mouth there.
No, and me and you, two jaded, fucking foul mouthed chuckleheads, right? You make us like I was genuinely laughing, like belly laughing to him. No cursing, no,
Yeah,
no. You know,
I know.
me and you say some of the most vile stuff in the
Yeah.
world just to like make each other laugh. I don't know. I feel like that's a fine art to be able to do that without.
And it's a talent in its own right. I agree 100%. I agree.
So
And it's cool that you shouted him out with that though. And he was like, I don't know, man. But yeah, you want to know, because it's easy. You could jump to another avenue and start F-bombing. If I flew a plane in the war, I'd be F-bombs.
there he is.
Wow.
No, you wouldn't be F-bombing. You'd be just fucking bombing.
Yeah. But you know, it's easy to jump to an avenue of F this and F that and you know, whatever.
All right. Well, think about this, right? When we were younger, and listen, I love dice.
Yeah.
It's always a special place in my heart.
Of course.
Why did we start liking dice when we were younger? The potty mouth, right? Come on.
Dickory duck.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, wow, this guy's motherfucker spitting.
He's spitting.
But that was his shtick. That was his thing. And believe me, over the years, obviously his style is a bit different. But
Yeah.
but that was to me, that was what drew me to him as a young lad.
Yes. Yes.
But I really think that being able to not cursing, not talking about dildos and leave your sister out of this, and being able to be funny like that, yeah, he does have a Seinfeld vibe to him where it's
yeah,
you talk about the little mundane stuff that makes you crack up.
Yes, exactly. With that being said, my friend, what do you have to say to the people?
If you just heard us talking to the very funny Greg Warren, and you know the liquor is a pouring, but you had too much, so pretty soon you're going to be snoring, then you just listen to Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast.
Be out.
If you just heard us talking to the very funny Greg Warren,
Christ, you're so loud.
okay.
I don't know why you have to eat.
I think we're done with that fucking gag.
Tell my ears that.
Oh, you got you
The mic. Eat the mic. All right,
You
go.
got those fucking cans on.
And my earmuffs.
He can call them earmuffs.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid.